Muhammad. For the love of Ali al-Akbar, which this night is dedicated to, with the loudest of your voices, a third loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. والصلاة والسلام على حبيب إله العالمين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. My dear respected brothers, my dear respected sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We commence the 9th night of Muharram by sending our deepest condolences to our beloved 12th Holy Imam, Al-Imam Al-Hujjat ibn Hassan Mahdi Jalal Farjuh al-Sharif, to our esteemed scholars and to the Muslim community worldwide as we continue and persist in reviving the remembrance of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam and bring forth the remembrance of the tragedy of Karbala that took place on the day of Ashura. My dear brothers and sisters, we are approaching the day of Ashura, which will be this upcoming Tuesday. And at this point, all of us should be laser focused on living this commemoration, immersing ourselves in this morning and just seizing this opportunity as we continue to pursue our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through our undying love for Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. To bless this majlis and this gatherings, we're going to start with the recitation of the Holy Quran with my dear brother Sayyid Ahmad al-Musawi. Please help me in welcoming Sayyid Ahmad ba'da salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today inshallah will be Surah Al-Fajr and Surah Al-Insan. I think many of you probably know these surahs, so if you want to recite out loud as well, inshallah that would be good. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن
وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا إنا نخاف من ربنا يوما عبوسا قمطريرا فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نضرة وسرورا وجزاهم بما صبروا جنة وحريرا متكئين فيها على الأرائك لا يرون فيها شمسا ولا زمهريرا ودانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تذليلا ويطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا ويسقون فيها كأسا كان مزاجها زنجبيلا عينا فيها تسمى سلسبيلا عينا فيها تسمى سلسبيلا ويطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون إذا رأيتهم حسبتهم لؤلؤا منثورا وإذا رأيت ثم رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا عاليهم ثياب سندس خضر واستبرق وحلوا أساور من فضة وسقاهم ربهم شرابا طهورا إن هذا كان لكم جزاء وكان سعيكم مشكورا صدق الله العلي العظيم رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
Thank you, Sayyid Ahmad, for this beautiful, inspiring, and uplifting recitation. For the dear Sayyid, please recite a loud salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In Ziyarat Ashura, which is highly recommended to recite in these blessed days, we say, Allahumma ja'alni indaka wajihan bil Hussein. O Allah, make me worthy in your sight by Al-Hussein in this life and in the hereafter. The thought that we should have in these days, especially as we approach the day of Ashura this Tuesday, is that the culmination of all of these gatherings, of all of these majalis, of all of these rituals, of all of this time, effort, and dedication that we've had in these past days is for us to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us, to bless us, and to give us the strength so that we remain steadfast on His path by the love that we have for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. That the Imam alayhi salam is the interceder, the means, the vehicle to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Him, his father, his mother, his brother, and his grandfather, Rasulullah, the holy household. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My dear brothers and sisters, inshallah, the convention will continue. The Experience Muharram convention will continue until day 13, which is this upcoming Thursday. Tomorrow, we will have the normal convention daily program starting at 11 a.m. with the women's only Arabic majlis, and then concluding at night after congregational prayers with main session 3 with Sayyid Hadar Baha al-Ulum and Sayyid Baha al-Musawi. That's tomorrow, inshallah. And then tonight, after the session, we will have the prayers in main session 3. Tuesday, which is the day of Ashura, the anniversary of the Battle of Karbala, we will recite the Maqtal, the saga in English from start to finish, the entire story here at the Vintage Bale Cultural Center and streaming live at Muharram.live at 7 p.m. sharp. I invite all of you to try to come early so that you can find a parking spot and so that you can find a good seat, because we expect and anticipate, as we have every year, to have a massive overflow. We're going to try to accommodate as much as possible, but the earlier you show up, inshallah, the better you'll be able situated to find a good seat, so that inshallah all of us can join in this morning. And Wednesday and Thursday nights, we will have the aftermath of Ashura, a program with our dear brother Hajj Jalal Moughania, here also at the Vintage Bale Cultural Center at 7 p.m. Sharp. We will release more details, inshallah, in the coming couple of days. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Also, today is the deadline to register for Husseini Expressions, which will take place, inshallah, on July 17th for all of my younger brothers and sisters, the artists and the reciters and the poets, the talented ones in this hall. This is your opportunity to express your love and passion and service to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So for more information, you can scan the QR code and you can register today, tonight. This is the deadline. You have a few hours at muharram.live/HE. Also, Hussein Service Day, which I invite all of you, each and every one of you, to participate in it and to partake in it, will be on August 24. And you have plenty of time to basically line up, prepare for an opportunity of providing service and helping your community in the name and in honor of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, so that inshallah, not only do we listen and benefit from these lectures and rituals, but we take all of that and translate it by helping our brothers and sisters, uplifting our families and empowering our communities through our service. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. How many of you here in the hall are between the ages of 18 and 24? MashaAllah. So about 1/3 of the hall is between the ages of 18 and 24, university students. So again, because this is so important, this is such an amazing opportunity, I would like to bring to your attention the Najaf retreat. And this is a project that's very near and dear to me, because since its inception in 2015, alhamdulillah, I've had the opportunity to go on the Najaf retreat multiple times, where we go for 10 days during winter break to the holy city of Najaf and immerse ourselves with the scholars, with the Hawza, with the seminary, so that we can learn from them, benefit from them, and also have an opportunity to learn about the seminary and the Hawza. This opportunity, which is exclusively for university students, and there's only limited spots, is for anyone between the ages of 18 and 24. You need to be a university student, and you need to be someone that's either interested in pursuing Hawza seminarian studies in the future, or you want to learn more about the Hawza system, or you are an active community leader within your community, whether you volunteer or support a masjid, a nonprofit organization, and you want to create this background and deepen your understanding of Shia Islam and the center and the hub of Shia knowledge, which is in the holy city of Najaf. So if you are interested, if you want to learn more, and I truly invite all of you that are between the ages of 18 to 24 to, at the very least, learn about this opportunity. And this might be something for you that can truly be transformational for you personally, and then also in your journey as a young leader. A QR code is going to come up that will take you to najafretreat.org. Najafretreat.org. We'll have a lot more information on this opportunity, how you can register, who qualifies, who's eligible, so that inshallah you can explore this, and you might be one of the lucky ones that will apply and be accepted into this program. And I promise you, from personal experience, this will change your life in every aspect, personally, professionally, religiously, spiritually, because not only do you go and you immerse yourselves with the scholars, with the individuals that have protected and safeguarded our faith for us, teaching us the faith from our imams, but you're also going to have an opportunity to visit the holy shrines in the holy cities of Najaf, Karbala, Kadhimiya, and Samarra. Once again, najafretreat.org. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Last but not least, my dear brothers and sisters, again, inshallah, all of us are rejuvenated in these blessed days. There's a lot of momentum that we have, again, from the blessings, the barakah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his remembrance. Make sure you carry that forward, and that doesn't stop with the conclusion of these programs. So in order for you to stay in touch with the foundation and the programming that we offer throughout the year, you can save our Mainstay Foundation number, which is 313-264-4655. 313-264-4655. You can also scan the QR code and basically access our WhatsApp channel, which is a great platform to get all of the updates about the programming of the foundation year-round. You can also follow us on social media at Mainstay US, at Mainstay US. Now, I'm going to ask all of you to direct your attention to the screens so that, once again, we can get a recap of the experienced Muharram convention that has been attended on a daily basis by over 2,000 individuals and is being viewed by thousands online. Truly the blessings of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, presented to you by our amazing media team that works tirelessly around the clock to capture what is happening, what is taking place, so that inshallah all of us can benefit from this. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
سألني اللي يكره حسين شو وقت تنسون الحسين قلت لو عفنا الحسين نعوف الله نعوف الله أمنيتهم عنك صدق ذولا مخابيل نحبك جيل عن جيل عشقنا من الطفولة هلا فصيلة دمنا معروفة وعلينا الكون شاهد كل شي ناقص بدمنا الحسين بدمنا زايد إذا قالوا كفر حبه بكفرنا نظل نعاند الله واحد وعدنا أبو السجاد الله واحد نظل نتحدى وعقيدتنا وحده حسين يلا يلا ما نعوفك.
My dear brothers and sisters, before I call upon Hajj Jalal to join us, I would like to ask all of you for a couple of minutes to welcome the chairman of the Mainstay Foundation Board of Directors for some remarks. بعد الصلاة على محمد وعلى محمد. حج خضر حمقى. صلوات.
Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First and foremost, I would love to say thank you to all of our attendees, all of the wonderful volunteers that make this happen, all of the great coordinators and organizers who have worked tirelessly over the past 9 days, and all of our generous donors who have supported us, because the Mainstay Foundation had a vision. And it is to have an experienced Muharram convention, and this is what you have been attending over the past 9 days. You are part of the 2,000 individuals who come through our doors. 500 young men and women and children from ages 4 to 14 who come and attend workshops. And at the end of the workshops, they take a meal and they sit together in an atmosphere that cannot be replicated anywhere. And this is all because of the efforts and our generous donors who make this happen. And without that and without your attendance, we wouldn't be here. With a show of hands, how many of you attended sessions other than this main session? MashaAllah. Wonderful. This is to your benefit, not to ours. We reap the benefits. You gain the experience. Whether you went to a workshop for professional development, you will take those skills with you wherever you go. And inshallah, you will pay that forward. And all of the young children who are coming here and experiencing Muharram like no other, they will also grow up and be a part of a community that you are part of, and they will also help shape that community. So that's what we are building. That's the vision. A community of wonderful young men and children, and young ladies and young women. So tonight I have an ask of you. And normally we wouldn't ask, but it's to everybody's benefit, and it's not a specific number that I will ask for. But I want you to reach into your heart, and while you're there, I want you to ask yourself this question. What would I give in order to put myself, my children, my daughter, my son, my relatives, myself in an atmosphere like this? What would I give? And that's up to you. That's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you feel, whatever number comes to mind, whether you're a student who can give $20, or you're a young family, a mother, a father, who have been bringing their children and can give $100, or if you are a professional, an entrepreneur, a business owner who wants to sponsor at $1,000, that's up to you. We will not ask for a specific number, but I will ask you to reach into your heart and say, what will I give? And in doing so, I will ask you to reach for your phone and scan the QR code that's about to come up, and take a moment. And whatever number that came into your mind, don't hesitate. This is your opportunity. And this is not the right QR code, so we're going to wait for the QR code to come up. And I sincerely ask you, for your sake, whatever that might be, you will be part of something. What you've seen here, you are part of. By giving something simple, you are helping carry this message on, the message of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and the majalis of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, which you are attending, which you will carry forward, which will inshallah continue, and you will receive the perpetual great deeds from giving. So please take a moment and give in the name of Imam Hussein. Pull out your phones, and whatever you would like to give, we would appreciate. And inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your families and all of your loved ones. And for that, I would ask, while your phone is in your hand, to recite Surah Al-Fatiha بعد الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
Ahsant Hajj. Thank you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all, my dear brothers and sisters. Everyone that has contributed by volunteering, donating, attending, reciting, helping out. Inshallah, we all play a role in bringing forth the mentioning of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. In honor of tonight's majlis, I would like to mention that the majlis is sponsored by 6 anonymous sponsors, as well as AJ Investment Group, Hajj Haytham Faqih, FS Investment Holdings, Paramount Accounting, and Foot and Ankle Specialty Group. Let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha for all of their beloved deceased ones, as well as to alleviate the illnesses that some of their family members and friends have. بعد الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, I would like to invite you to help me in welcoming and joining my dear brother Hajj Jalal Moughania with 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Ahsantum, ahsantum. My dear brothers and sisters, you and I have an opportunity. Every single day we've been talking about opportunity. We've been talking about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places things in our lives. And there's certain laws that we're trying to abide by, as inspired by Karbala, which is relevant in our lives every single day. And Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam continues to inspire us personally, individually, socially, as a community, here and abroad. The inspiration of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, the lifetime of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, continues to inspire us. And with the inspiration of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, teaching us the glory of dying in the way of God, but the beauty in living for Him. I want you to take this testament tonight as part of Shahadat al-Maut, the testimony that we have. We hope and we pray. My brothers, I want you to listen closely. We hope and we pray that when the hour of our death comes, that we are able to recite this from our heart. It doesn't matter if you have it memorized. We are repeating it every night, not so that the tongue can remember it, so that the heart can manifest it. So manifest with me tonight the belief, the conviction in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah through what we say. Say it with me. Hold the Holy Quran if you have it. If you have the Holy Quran with you, God bless you. If you don't, you're not giving yourself the opportunity. Place your right hand on your heart. Place the Quran on your heart. Repeat after me. Allah is my Lord. Allah is my Lord. Allah is my Lord. Islam is my religion. Islam is my religion. Islam is my religion. The Quran is my book. 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 Muhammad is my prophet. Muhammad is my prophet. Muhammad is my prophet. Some of us are saying it, but we're not meaning it. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alih was orphaned at the age of 6 from both mother and father. He gave everything so you can say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. His grandson Al-Hussein alayhi salam gave everything so that you can sit in these seats, remember who he was, and have honor. When you remember the name of Muhammad, you say it with honor and respect. Muhammad is my prophet. 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 Ali is my imam. Ali is my imam. Ali is my imam. Ali is my imam. Ahsantum, salawat. All of you who are here tonight, you will see a passion that comes out here in the Majalis of Imam al-Hussein by the Mainstay Foundation, as well as the Majalis of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and other parts of our community and worldwide. You're going to see a passion that comes in the remembrance of Ahlul Bayt, from our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alih to the rest of our Imams. And that passion needs to be honored and preserved. If you are passionate about your belief, it's great, it's awesome. But you need to bolster that passion with understanding the intellectual movement of Ahlul Bayt. Tonight, we're remembering a monumental figure. The one who looked so much like the Prophet that even the enemies in Karbala, when he would ride into battle, they were baffled, confused. They literally thought that it was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam coming to them in the flesh. And that figure is none other than his great-grandson, Ali al-Akbar. Ali al-Akbar was the eldest son of Imam al-Hussein. Ali al-Akbar, on the day of Ashura, when Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam had lost all of his companions, they all went out and they all gave their lives and they all fought valiantly. From Habib ibn Mudahir to Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, Burayr, John, Hur, Abdullah, all of the companions on the day of Ashura all went out and they were all gone. And Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam would mourn them. And then he would come back to his camp, crying, mourning. Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam would go to al-Imam and tell him, Father, give me permission to enter the battlefield. Let me be your shield. Let me show them who the sons of Ali really are. I will make them scatter all near and far. Ali al-Akbar was aching. Ali al-Akbar was the one who would mourn with his father on the souls and the bodies of his companions. When Hur would give his life and finally die on the land of Karbala, Ali al-Akbar would recite an elegy for him, would lament him and say, glory be to Allah, for Hur has given his life, named as his mother named him, free in this life and the next. Glory be to he who has his glory with Allah. Ali al-Akbar was there. Ali al-Akbar, in the nights before, when Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam were besieged in Karbala, he was tasked with certain missions in trying to find water and food for his camp. And Ali al-Akbar would take a group of men with him so that they would find what they could to keep them going up until the day of Ashura. Because remember, they were in Karbala for about a week. It was on the 2nd of Muharram that they were stopped in the land of Karbala. And it was on the 7th day, 3 days prior to the day of Ashura, that they were completely cut off from access to water until their water supply would be depleted on the day of Ashura. So when you're thinking about the thirst of Imam al-Hussein, you're thinking about the thirst of his men, his women, his children, I want you to see it as something so real. Ali al-Akbar, after all the companions were killed, he goes to his father and he tells him, please. Then the women surround him. They surround him and they begin to say, Ya Ali, do not leave. We will be bereaved. We will be stricken with grief if you are to leave us. We need you here. They're surrounding him. Imagine his mother, his aunts, his sisters, they're all surrounding him. Ali, don't leave. Don't leave. Ali al-Akbar looks at his father. He says, Father, please, give me permission. Imam al-Hussein tells him, Ya Ali, I can't see you go. He says, but Father, they've taken all of your companions. I cannot stand here watching them continue to slaughter us. I am your son. Let me defend you. Ali al-Akbar would be the first one from Banu Hashim, from the family of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, to go forth and give his life on the land of Karbala. I want you to think about this. We set the scene. You're looking at the history. You're looking at the context. And inshallah, as we recite the majlis, we're going to go into more detail. But I want you to imagine with me, on the day of Ashura, with Ali al-Akbar and all he did. Remember nights ago, we talked about how Ali al-Akbar was that young son, was that son of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam in his mid to late 20s, who when he was riding with his father, and Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was riding to Karbala, the Imam was constantly saying, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We belong to God and to Him we return. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There is no strength save in God. And he was seeing what would happen on the day of Ashura. And Imam al-Hussein's mourning had already begun essentially. And Ali al-Akbar, he would tell his father, Father, with a smile, are we not on the path of truth? He said, of course. So then we have nothing to worry about. We have nothing to worry about. Look at the pride that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam would have in his son, who his son manifested and represented all of the values and the principles that each and every one of us would want to see in our son. Ali al-Akbar carried that through and through. Tonight, we talk about the law of legacy and how you and I, in all the decisions that we are making, we are building into a legacy, whether we know it or not. You and I are building into our hereafter, whether we know it or not. the hereafter, the afterlife, is a reflection of the decisions that we make today. My young brothers, stay with me. Stay with me. I need you locked in. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam would raise a son, Ali al-Akbar. When he would say, before Ali al-Akbar would go off into battle, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam embracing his son, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the neck of Ali al-Akbar with his hand raised to the sky, with his hand raised to the heavens. Ya Allah, bear witness upon these people that this young man that I'm setting forth into the battlefield, that's about to go and fight the enemies of Allah, they are about to see a young man who no one on the face of this earth looks more like, acts more like, speaks more like your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Ali al-Akbar, Imam al-Hussein continues to pray. He says, Ali al-Akbar is the one who whenever we missed Rasulullah. Remember, Imam al-Hussein, look at the context. Imam al-Hussein, who was raised in the lap of Rasulullah, who Imam al-Hussein at the death of our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was less than 7 years of age. He was raised in the Prophet's lap. He was the one when the Prophet would speak to his people, Imam al-Hussein would sit on his left or his right. And he would tell the people, this is Hussein, he is from me. His blood is my blood, his flesh is my flesh, his soul is my soul. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is hearing the prayer of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam 50 years later on the day of Ashura in Karbala, where he says, Ya Allah, bear witness on these people that the one who is closest to your Prophet, my grandfather, in the way he looked, in the way he spoke, in the way he acted, in the way he did everything, Ali al-Akbar, to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is going to these people, is going to fight these enemies, and they wish to kill him. Look at the connection. What is the legacy that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is establishing with and through his son Ali al-Akbar, whom he raised to be most like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. Yes, he looked like him, but notice Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam didn't just say the one who looks just like your Prophet. The way he spoke, the way he smiled, the way he acted. If you take another step back and you see Imam Hussein's father, the commander of the faithful, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and you see his will and last testament. When someone passes away, before they pass away, they will write a will. Who here has heard of writing a will? You've heard of it at least. Who here has a will? Anybody have a will? Okay. I will tell you here tonight. Bha Ali al-Akbar. By the right of Ali al-Akbar. My brothers in the front. If you're not going to pay attention, please go to the prayer hall. Or somewhere where you can pay attention. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If you notice, and forgive me, I don't want to put any of you on the spot. But when I'm up here speaking for Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, this is a conversation I'm having with all of you. To do what? To bring forth his memory so that you and I can mourn. We are in a state of mourning. If any one of us, our relatives, was being mourned right now and we were on our phones and we were talking, wouldn't we consider that to be disrespectful? Okay. So please, by the right of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, you being silent, you paying attention, all of this matters. All of this matters. And tonight, what I'm going to be driving home to give it to you all the way through is what? You and I, the things that we do matter. Your life matters. Because death is real. Every single night we're remembering the deaths, the martyrdoms of our valiant heroes. The champions of Karbala. And we're remembering them so we can understand how real death is. And so we can appreciate and have gratitude for the opportunity that is life. Do not take your life for granted. You are young. MashaAllah. May Allah keep you youthful. May Allah keep us all youthful. But we don't know when life is going to be taken away from us. 2 days ago, we just mourned one of our brothers, who many of his friends were here in the audience with us tonight. Adam Awada, Allah yarhamu. Weeks before that, we just mourned one of our members and volunteers, one of the dedicated individuals, one of our sisters, Sister Aya Nasrallah, who passed away just weeks ago. 25 years old. How old was Adam? 19. The Majalis of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam demand from us what? To appreciate our lives. Don't look at this as something distant. This isn't distant. This is the realest it's ever gonna get. And you and I are blessed to be part of a community that allows us to bring these real discussions to life. Because your life is valuable. You are important. You are valuable. Don't be vain. Don't take it for granted. You and I are blessed beyond measure. When you and I are looking overseas and we are seeing the tragedy of our brothers and sisters in Palestine, and we are praying for them and praying for our brothers and sisters in Lebanon, and we're praying for all oppressed people around the world, you and I are what? Is it enough for us to just feel bad about what's going on? Or are you going to continue taking your own life for granted? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places us in where we are for a reason. So you need to have this sense of gratitude, this sense of appreciation. You need to have this sense of honor. That the people in your midst, the person on your right, the person on your left, the person in front of you, the person behind you, deserves respect. The people outside of this hall deserve respect. When you're thinking about your legacy and how you live this life, so what your afterlife would be like, I want to ask you a serious question. I want to ask you a serious question. Do you think at all it's ever permissible for you to speak ill of somebody else? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Holy Quran, would any of you like to eat the flesh of your dead brother? When he's speaking about who? Those who do what? Backbiting. And you know backbiting in our jurisprudence, it's actually if you say something true about somebody else. A lot of people don't realize this jurisprudential difference. Backbiting is not a rumor. Backbiting is when you say something that actually is true. It's a bad thing about somebody that you know. Let's say you know somebody, something from their past. They did something wrong, and you share it with somebody else. That is backbiting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equates it with you eating the flesh of your dead brother. How disgusting and despicable that kind of person would be. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala views you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in our jurisprudence, we understand from our sharia, from our fiqh, that backbiting, ghiba, is from the greater sins. The greater sins, min al-kaba'ir. It is up there with the greater sins. And even if you seek permission, even if you seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you still have to seek forgiveness from the person that you backbit. Now that's backbiting, that's something true. Now imagine you have the audacity, my brothers, again. Imagine you have the audacity to disrespect someone to a point where you make up lies about them. Buhtan. Buhtan is what? It's not just backbiting. You're making up a lie and spreading rumors about them. You're pushing a certain lie and a fitna, a sedition that goes further to affect a person's reputation. Now, I want you and I here in the audience here tonight. You're all coming to the majalis of Imam al-Hussein, and inshallah you're inspired. Inshallah you cry. Inshallah you mourn. Inshallah you bring your heart to a state of remembrance, and you are charged and you want to become better. When you go outside and you're engaging with people, listen closely. When you go outside and you're engaging with people, your family, your friends, people from different places, and you hear a lie, you hear a rumor, you hear negativity being spread even about people that you don't know, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? Do you shut it down or do you feed into it? Let's be honest with ourselves. You and I want to be Husseini. You and I want to follow Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. You have to implement the ethics of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And if the majalis of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam are not inspiring us to know how to engage as a community and be good people, enough. Be a good person. Be a stand-up moral individual. You know wrong when you see it, and you know right when you see it. How about we implement the basic tenet of what it means to be a mu'min, to be a believer? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the believer is one whom people are safe from their tongue and from their hand. Are we safe with one another? Are you safe with the people in your community? I beg you, stop looking for safety with others if you're not providing it for one another. I need to provide safety. Am I one who spreads lies? Am I one who backbites? Am I one who spreads rumors? Am I one who disrespects openly or privately? Am I one who talks about people? Ask yourself. Tonight, by the right of Ali al-Akbar, this young, valiant man who manifested the akhlaq of Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, even with his enemies, the worst people that ever came about, these people wanted his head, and he still managed to smile and work with people and be with people and grow a community and inspire. You and I will tell you this. Our community will continue to grow. Our community will continue to have more and more. If you look just 10 years from now, and what the future of our community looks like, it's bright. But we are being tested. We are being tested. We are being tested from within. How do each and every one of us look at one another? Do you think you're better than the people around you? Do you think that you're better than people in this hall? You come to this hall, do you think you're better than the people in this hall? Do you think because you are here, you are better than the people outside of the hall? I am here to tell you no. I am not better than anyone here, and no one here is better than me. You and I, my dear brothers and sisters, we are family. We're a community. We're supposed to come together hand in hand. Just because you and I are here doesn't make us better than the other people outside. When I go and I see somebody that may not be doing the things that I'm doing, may not be thinking the way I'm thinking, does not create any sense of superiority for me. Bil'akis, absolutely not. I have a responsibility. There is no difference between an Arab and a non-Arab. There's no difference between black and white. There's no difference between Lebanese and Iraqi. There's no difference between anyone except piety. And the pious do not compare. The pious. So when you are hearing and you are engaging, please, the sanctity of Majalis al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam needs to be held at the highest regard. If you are hearing and engaging with anything that is other than the memory of Ahlul Bayt and bringing honor to Ahlul Bayt, I don't care where it's coming from, who it's about, put it in check. Stop it. Honor yourself. Honor Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. What are we here for? What are we here for? Is this entertainment? I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right here, if this is entertainment, I will step down right now. This is not entertainment. This is mourning. This is remembrance. This is honor. Because each and every single person in this hall deserves that. When I come up here, I am a humble servant trying to honor the name and the memory of Muhammad wa al Muhammad, because these are his rememberers, these are his mourners, these are the individuals that have come and they want to pay condolences. So yes, when we're sitting here, please, the most important thing is our akhlaq, our ethics. Because I'll tell you, if we forget our ethics, if we forget our manners, if we forget the way we actually need to be and deal with one another, and it's as important as the way you sit, it's as important as the way you shake someone's hand, it's as important as the eye contact that you make with somebody. Because I honor you, I believe in you, I respect you. And then when you go out into the world, whether it's back home, to school, to work, you carry the ethics of Imam al-Hussein into your life. You and I want to change the world today, and we can barely honor one another. Start here. Start with yourself. We are building a legacy whether we know it or not. I wonder what kind of legacy we are building. When it's based on a foundation of accusation, when it's based on a foundation of lies, when it's based on a foundation that is opposed to everything that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam lived and died for. So you and I, we have an opportunity here tonight. What I started with, I'll continue with. An opportunity. In every single moment, you will be challenged with the opportunity, and distractions will come. Of all sorts, they will come. From the person on your right even. The person on your left even. But when I remember Ali al-Akbar, I'm not here to remember just a sorrowful story and shed a few tears because I feel connected to it because he was young like me. No, 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 no. I'm here to remember Ali al-Akbar because he took part in a legacy that would live forever, so that someone who is actually concerned with truth, someone who's actually concerned with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be a better person, so that you and I can be better for each other as a community. When you go out, when you engage with your family, when you're leaving here and you're remembering Ali al-Akbar, are you going and kissing your mother's hand? Or are you too arrogant to make sure that your mother is pleased with you? When you're trying to listen to Ali al-Akbar and you're trying to be inspired by him, are you actually going to go and kiss your father's head and embrace him and hold him? Because it could be your last. It could be your last. Many people think, oh, when you get sick and then you die. Something is out of the ordinary. You get sick and then you die. You get old and then you die. No. How many times? I know people in the audience right now, and I don't want to point you out, and I don't want to talk about your families because I want to respect your mourning. And forgive me if anyone, I mention certain names, but honestly it's only to send blessings their way, and inshallah the blessings are dedicated to them. But recently, months ago, we lost another brother in our community who died in his sleep. And we hear these over and over again. Death is real. So when tonight I'm thinking about legacy, and I'm connecting Ali al-Akbar to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I'm connecting how Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam raised the son. He raised the son. How are we raising our sons? How are we raising our daughters? It starts with us. And you may be an adult. You may be 18, 19, 20, 22 years old, and you'll be like, okay, I'm done being raised. Okay, great. Now, how are you living your life? Because I'll tell you, and this happens all the time. Well, my parents didn't do this for me. I'm 24 years old. My parents didn't do this for me. They didn't provide this for me. If they did provide it for me, then I would be different. I'd be better off. Are you going to keep on blaming your parents? How long are you going to keep on blaming your parents? Man up, woman up. Life is tough. Keep going. You want to keep on blaming your parents? Go for it. But you're only doing an injustice to yourself. But with the opportunity that we have as parents, no matter how young our children may be, we have to look at them and see what is the legacy that we want for them. It's not enough. I'm going to be blunt. It's not enough for us to raise our kids to get a good education. I'm saying this as an educated person. I'm a lawyer. It's not enough to be a lawyer. It's not enough to be a doctor. It's not enough to be a pharmacist. What do you want to be when you grow up? We always talk about jobs. We always talk about professions. We always talk about careers. That's it? That's all you want to talk about? You only want to talk about the 8 to 10 hours that a person is doing supposedly to get a living. Because eventually, after you finish your education, you get a degree, and you start working in this profession, or let's say you're an entrepreneur and you're running your business, whatever it may be, it's a certain amount of hours. What about outside of that? And what about while they're doing their job, do they have the ethical foundation and the framework, the worldview of how to actually do that job as a stand-up human being? Or is all of this just on the side? What do you want to be when you grow up? I'll tell you right now, I want to be a stand-up human being that when I am faced with difficult decisions, I will make the right choice. That's what I want to be. When I ask my daughter, I'm not concerned with if she tells me she wants to be a teacher or a nurse or a lawyer or a physician. That's not my concern. Oh yeah, I want my kids to be lawyers. That's not my concern. You and I, we need a paradigm shift, brothers and sisters. When we're talking about what we want to be, what we want to focus on, the most important things, what do you take with you to your grave? Who here buried someone recently? In the past year, who here buried somebody? Attended a burial, attended a funeral, attended a funeral. Anybody? Anybody attended a funeral recently? What did they take with them? No, you're wrong. They took their good deeds with them and their sins. Now, you and I have the opportunity, based on the way we live, what we take with us. When you say nothing, I agree with you. You mean the material things. They're not taking their car. They're not taking the beautiful house. They're not taking the clothes. They're not taking the achievements and the accolades. They're not taking the trophies. No matter how great of an athlete you are, you're not taking the trophy with you. Those don't go with you. When you go to your grave, what do you have? Your deeds. What kind of deeds? So when I'm honestly, and I applaud my young brothers here in the front, because every night I check in with them, and afterwards we lock in again. How many times have we come up and I've talked to you guys outside? Right? A few times. And not doing that to discourage them. I'm doing that for them so that they can understand. I look at them as young men. They're not kids. And I go up to them, I shake their hand, and then we talk about it afterwards. And we're going to talk about it afterwards again. We will. And I applaud them for continuing to come and sit here in the front. Why? They want to learn. They want to grow. They want to keep going. And that's what they need to do. We need to put ourselves in a situation where we are challenging one another and we are pressing forward to what? That young man, I'm concerned about him as a human being. I'm concerned for his mind, his intellect. I'm concerned for his prayer, what he takes with him. What he takes with him. And you and I, for our families, there's only so much I can do from here. And I may not be effective. I may not be effective. That's a reality I have to deal with. But you and I have to take whatever is being shared here from Majalis al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and then take it with us into our homes. Who here believes that prayer is important? Beautiful. Who here believes that they can work on their prayer? Beautiful. Are you? If you are, excellent. If you're not, let this be the reminder. Ali al-Akbar was with the companions, shielding Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and shielding those who were praying. When they stopped in the middle of battle to pray. Now you and I, we're at work, or we're at school, or we're studying, or we're just playing, just wasting time. The prayer time comes and we barely have, we don't get up. Why? Are our priorities in order? By the way, prayer is the most basic thing. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you, hey, I want to have a conversation with you. Can you make some time? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your prayer, Allah is telling you, come and have a conversation with me. Who here wants to be happy? Beautiful. Who here wants to be successful? Beautiful. Who here wants good things for their family? Beautiful. Who gives you all those things? And we can barely, I don't have time. I got a question the other day. Hajj, I'm struggling with my prayer. Oh yeah, me too. Okay. Well, how are you struggling with your prayer? I'm struggling with my prayer. I don't pray every day. I'm like, oh, why not? I just feel like, honestly, I don't have time. Oh, okay. What are you spending your time doing? My brother goes through his whole schedule, right? I said, oh, do you find time to eat? Of course. Take a lunch break. Do you find time to take a shower? Of course. I can't go outside without taking a shower. Brush your teeth? Yes, of course. Wash your face? Excellent. Yeah. Put your clothes on? Yes. Yeah. Do you spend time with your family? Yeah, probably about an hour or two. You spend time with your friends? Yeah, we usually hang out at night. Okay. You find time to go to the gym? Absolutely. I go to the gym an hour and a half. Got to stay fit. Beautiful. Excellent. Beautiful. All right. You don't have 10 minutes that can be dispersed throughout the day, 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 2 minutes here, to pray your few prayers? It's not that you don't have time. It's that you don't value your prayer. It's not that you don't have time. It's that you don't believe in your prayer. It's not that you don't have time. It's because there's no value, meaning there's no belief. If there's no belief, there's no commitment. We're talking about commitment issues. Commitment issues come from a lack of belief. Lacking belief comes from a lack of value. If you have commitment issues, whether it's with your prayer with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or it's your marriage, or it's your community, or it's your business, or whatever it may be, it stems back to value. I challenge you, if you have any kind of commitment issues, the most important being, yes, I need to be committed at bare minimum with my obligation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I believe my happiness, my goodness that's going to come to my family, my contentment, all of the things that I want are coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can't give God 10, 15 minutes total dispersed throughout the day to say, Ya Allah, I want to have a conversation with you. Come on. Come on. Alhamdulillah, the past 2 days, today and yesterday, we had a prayer workshop. I admire the brothers and the sisters that came. There's about 150 people in the prayer hall. And then we went into small circles. And each person, the courage that they had, I probably wouldn't have had that courage at that time in my life when I wanted to learn how to pray. But the courage that they had, we sat in circles and made sure that each person was perfecting their pronunciation to make sure that they recite properly. Because they value their prayer. They value it. So they believed in it, and they believed in it, so they committed to it. You want to build a legacy? Who here wants to build a legacy so that they are remembered forever? Remembered forever. Beautiful. Beautiful. What's gonna take you into forever? This life, no matter how much you live, no matter how many days, years you have in this life. Let's say you live to 70. Let's say 80. Press it 90. 100. Let's make 120. Right? Most likely, everyone in this hall, we're in 2024. In 2124, 100 years from now, most likely we're all gone. We're not here anymore. We're buried. I want you to think about this for a moment. 2124, we're buried. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can be one who is alive even after your death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, do not say about those who have died in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they are dead. They are alive, receiving their sustenance from Allah. Look at this. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can be one who lives forever, because this body that you and I are so obsessed with, whether we're trying to make it so perfect and we're fixated on our physical image, or we have body image issues and we don't have confidence in ourselves, I'm here to tell you, my dear brothers and sisters, if you are trying to become better in all facets of your life, physically, spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, financially, that's excellent. That's great. But ground yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here, if you fixate yourself on connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will give you both this life and the next. But if you fixate on this life, you will lose both this life and the next. Because nobody has this life forever. Even the tyrants that tried to control everything, they lost it. Muawiyah died. Yazid died. The tyrants of today, they will die. Everyone will die. But what remains? You, this body will perish, will be buried, but your soul will remain and go on forever. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will go and transition into the next life. You and I, we're so fixated on what is our job gonna be? What's our profession gonna be? And I'm here to tell you, yes, your job matters. Your education matters. To all the young people in the audience, your religion inspires you actually to be not only someone who is educated, a professional, an entrepreneur, successful, etc., inspires you to actually be the best in your space. You think Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was just any kind of trader, merchant, businessman? No. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the best in his space. Lady Khadija alayhi salam was the most successful in her space. But it was from a foundation of faith. It was from a foundation in knowing your priorities. It was from a foundation of knowing what's right and what's wrong. And that no matter what, in any kind of dealing or transaction, people were honored always. You think we just throw around the word that the sanctity of a believer is greater than the sanctity of the Kaaba itself? Those are the words of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we say something that the Prophet said and it's established, the chain of narration is solid and it's established, I want you to know, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes our Prophet. So if you know something the Prophet said, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He, Muhammad, does not speak out of whim. It is nothing but revelation. So when we're taking that, we're saying, oh man, this is godly. We're going to take it and we're going to run with it. And I see from the examples of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that inspire me today that you and I, we have work to do. Let's be real. We have work to do. If we want a legacy, take a second right now, put everything on the side. Just take a moment for yourself and reflect on yourself right now. Nobody goes with anybody else in their grave. You may honestly buy a plot of land in a cemetery and say, I want to be buried here, and my wife is going to be buried next to me, and my family is going to be buried next to me. I have in my will that inshallah, requesting my family, whoever survives me, that I want to be buried in Wadi Salam, in Najaf, in the holy city of Najaf. That has a sanctity like no other. And it's narrated that anybody has the tawfiq, the good fortune to be buried in that place, in the holy city of Najaf, that person will have paradise. So in my will, I have that. We spoke about the will in the testament of the Imams and the Prophets. When you're looking at the wills and the testaments of our Imams and our Prophets, did anybody talk about material wealth? Sure, if there was some loans or certain things that were there that needed to be returned as trust to people, they talked about it. But you know what they emphasized in their wills? Their akhlaq. They emphasized their teachings. They emphasized their beliefs. They emphasized, hold on to your faith. That's what they emphasized. Imam Ali alayhi salam to Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein, his sons, he would say, do not forget the Quran in your lives. Do not forget the orphans in your lives. Do not forget about the right of the masjid, the mosque in your lives. Do not forget about the poor. Do not forget about them. He was giving them advice. The will of the Imam is more a testament of advice and what his teachings and what his beliefs were more than anything else. Look at what the emphasis was, what he was saying throughout his life, what he was talking to them about. the things that really matter. And then what he said finally before his death, and what he had written to them. What are you going to write to your family? Tonight, I ask you all to take an exercise. When you go back home tonight, after Salat al-Maghrib and Salat al-Isha, after you make your prayers, and I ask you all, whether you're currently praying or not, may Allah forgive us all. Whether you're on your prayers or not, make tonight a night of change. Pray tonight. In fact, pray with us tonight. And when you go home after your prayers here tonight, I want you to begin writing your will. Like, oh wow, writing your will. Isn't that something old people do? We're going back. I don't care how old you are. You need to write your will. Be real with yourself. Could it end? Yes, absolutely. How many more examples do we need from our community? Imagine you're that person. Imagine you're that person, like our sister Ayah Nasrallah, who passed away a month ago. When she was hit with cancer, less than a year prior, she said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what an honor I have that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested me with cancer. You know why she was like that? She was in that mindset? Because she was on it. She was on it. She was focused on the right things. But she was very educated. She was very successful. She was on it. So how do you and I practically be inspired by Karbala, be inspired by Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, take the emotion, take the passion, and then be on it? Tonight, start writing your will. What are the things that matter to you? What are the things that when you leave this world, what do you want to happen? Start learning about the actual laws of what Islamically is required from us when we leave this world. How are the things that we have, how are they distributed? And beyond the material things, which honestly, they're not much. The material things, they can get taken care of. What do you really want to leave behind in this world? What legacy do you want to leave behind? Your deeds. That's the only thing you're taking with you. That's the only thing that you have. What can you do? And you say, like, I'm gonna leave this world and I'm good. Who here wants to make sure, and I know it's a hard conversation to have, but it's real. I'm not here to just make you feel like, all right, it's great. I'm here to make you feel what's real. Who here wants to make sure before they pass that they're good? I want to keep it simple, that they're good. Who here wants to make sure that you're good before you pass? Beautiful. Beautiful. You know what you need to make sure before you pass? The very least, your prayer. I'm going to sound like a broken record and I'm going to keep on saying it. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam died for that prayer. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam gave you his life so that you and I can know the value of prayer. Because that's what's going to protect us in our grave. That's what's going to appear to us in our grave and help us. And you know what else is going to help us in our grave after our death? Is this ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, it's narrated that when the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam shared the first news with his family as a whole, Lady Fatima, Imam Ali, Imam Hassan, and Imam Hussein, when they were just children, the Prophet shared with them the news of what would happen with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. I'll tell you the story. The Prophet was sitting one day with Imam al-Hassan and Imam al-Hussein. They're sitting together. Prophet is sitting with them. He has Imam al-Hassan on his right, Imam al-Hussein on his left. He's holding them. He kisses Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam on his face. He kisses Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam on his neck. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and Imam al-Hassan, they disperse. One of them goes to the other side of the room, and Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam goes to the other room where Lady Fatima alayhi salam is preparing a meal. As a young boy, he asks his mother, Mother Fatima, my grandfather Rasulullah just kissed me and my brother. He kissed one of us on the face, one of us on the neck. He kissed me on my neck. Why did he do that? Why did he kiss me differently than my brother? So Lady Fatima alayhi salam said, my dear, we'll go back and we'll ask him. So when they went back into the room, they found that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was prostrating. He got up from his prostration and they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, oh father, why is it that you kissed Hussein differently than you kissed Al-Hasan? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Fatima, it is heavy on my heart to share with you why. But I will. And at this point, Imam Ali alayhi salam is in the room, Lady Fatima is in the room, Imam al-Hasan is in the room, Imam Hussein alayhi salam is in the room. And the Prophet shares with her what will happen to Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein. He says, Imam al-Hasan will be poisoned and killed. And I kissed him on the place, on his face, on his mouth, the place of where the poison will come. As for Hussein, I kissed him on the neck because he will be slaughtered and killed. Lady Fatima alayhi salam was shook. My Hassan will be poisoned and killed, and then my Hussein will be slaughtered? He said, yes. And in a time that none of us will be there. Lady Fatima alayhi salam begins to mourn and cry. Imam Ali alayhi salam shedding tears on his son. Imam al-Hasan, Imam al-Hussein. It was a very intense moment. And then in that moment, the Prophet ﷺ says to her, yes, in a time that none of us are there. Lady Fatima says, then who will mourn him? Who will cry over him? Who will shed tears over him? Who will grieve over him? The Prophet said, Allah will create for him Shia, followers, muhibbeen, lovers, that will cry for him, beat their chests over him, and they will never forget them. She said, how do we reward these individuals? How do we reward these people that cry over my Hussein? He said, I will be their interceder on the day of judgment. The Prophet said, I will give them shafa'ah. I will be their interceder on the day of judgment. Lady Fatima then said, I will walk them into paradise. The Prophet said, Ya Ali, what will you do? He said, I will give them from the fountain of paradise. I will give them water with my hand. Imam al-Hasan, what will you do? I will help them on the sirat as they walk into the afterlife. And then they looked at Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, and the Prophet asked him, Oh Hussein, what will you do for those who remember you? He said, whoever remembers me, I will remember him. Whoever visits me, I will visit him. I will never leave them. In the hour of their death, when their souls are being taken from their body and in their grave, I will never leave them. So, Allahumma salli ala. So we are here, remembering Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, trying to honor his memory, committing ourselves, valuing it, believing it, and committing ourselves to his memory. Will you remember him? Will you honor him? Will you cry over him? Will you be one to visit him, whether it's from near or afar? You can't go on ziyarah and go to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and hold on to his shrine and say Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah in front of his shrine. Then say it from here. Say it from here. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be screaming and yelling. It can be in a whisper. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Assalamu alayka ya Hussein. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My brothers and sisters, Ahsant, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Remember the tragedy of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam with me. Recite with me if you know the words. If you don't, listen closely. If I tell you this tale of sorrow, Will you lend me your hearts to borrow? Will you shed a tear for Hussein? Will you? If I tell you this tale of sorrow, louder. Let Zainab hear you. And if we stay here tonight until tomorrow, will you bear this tale of sorrow? Listen here to Hussein's story, a story of heartache and glory, a story of... On the day of Ashura, in the land of Karbala, Al-Imam al-Hussein had lost all of his companions, all of his friends. Mourning them, he turned to his family and he found his son Ali al-Akbar ready to enter the battlefield. Ali al-Akbar would seek permission from his father Hussein. Father, let me enter the battlefield. Let me be your shield. Let me show them who the sons of Ali really are. I will make them scatter all near and far. Al-Imam al-Hussein tells his beloved son Ali, Ali, I can't bear to see you leave. The ladies, the women and the children surround Ali al-Akbar, telling him, please don't rush into the battlefield. We can't bear to lose you, Ya Ali. Ali al-Akbar looks again at his father, saying, Father, please give me leave. Al-Imam al-Hussein tells him, my son Ali, it's not easy to see you go. He says, Father, I must go. I can no longer look on our men that are slaughtered. These men want our blood, but they won't have it so easily. Al-Imam al-Hussein embraces his son. He looks to the heavens and he says, Ya Allah, bear witness that this young man who comes forward to them in battle, no other man on the face of this earth resembles your Prophet Muhammad in his looks and his morals and his demeanor, like Ali al-Akbar. Whenever we miss the face of our Prophet, Ya Allah, we would look at Ali. Ya Allah, protect my son Ali. Brothers and sisters, moments later, Ali al-Akbar would be seen on the battlefield. As Ali al-Akbar would ride his horse into battle, he would raise his voice, he would raise his voice in verse, and he would say, so that the whole army could hear him, I am Ali, the son of Hussein ibn Ali. We are of the Prophet the most worthy. We will not submit to the sons of impostors. I will thrust this spear until it breaks you. The strikes of my sword will not stop. I am Ali, the son of Hussein ibn Ali. His mother Layla would come out of her tent to watch Ali ride into battle. She and Imam al-Hussein watched as their son Ali would ride into the battlefield. Imam al-Hussein would turn to Layla and tell her to pray. She says, I want you. He says, oh Layla, go back to your tent and pray for Ali. Ask Allah to bring our son back to us safely. You are his mother, and the prayers of a mother for her son are heard and accepted by Allah. Oh mothers, hear this from Imam al-Hussein. He would tell Layla to pray for her son. He would tell Layla to pray for their son. For her prayers as a mother are heard and accepted. Layla begins to pray. She says, Ya Allah, you were the one who returned Joseph to Jacob. You were the one who brought Moses back to his mother. You protected Ismail for Hajar. I ask you by the right of Hussein and his thirst, I ask you to protect my son Ali and bring him back to me. They say Ali al-Akbar would fight valiantly against the enemies of Allah. They say that Ali al-Akbar, despite his thirst, despite the scorching heat, Ali al-Akbar would kill over 100 men. They were mesmerized by Ali with every strike and every blow. They couldn't tell, they wouldn't know who was this warrior they fought below. Was this the son of Hussein, or was this Rasulullah in the flesh? Brothers and sisters, Ali al-Akbar, after killing so many of the enemies, he would return back to the camp. He descended from his horse. He would go to his father who was waiting for him. Imam al-Hussein would open his arms and he would say, you're back, my son. Hugging him. Ali was wounded, but he carried on without showing any pain. But the thirst was greater than any wound. He says, Father Hussein. Look at how he speaks to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. He says, Father Hussein, forgive me, but this thirst is killing me. Al-Atash, Al-Atash, Abba Hussein. The weight of my armor has exhausted me with this thirst. Is there any means by which I can just get a sip of water, Father Hussein, so that I can become stronger against your enemies? Al-Imam al-Hussein is weeping and crying. What does he say to his son? He says, my son, it saddens Muhammad Ali. It saddens Muhammad Ali and your father that you call upon them and they do not answer, and that you plead for them and they cannot aid you. I hope the night does not fall before your grandfather Muhammad hands you a cup of water with his own hand. They say that Ali al-Akbar, before he would go back to the battlefield, Imam al-Hussein would tell him to see his mother Layla. Layla was praying in her tent. He greets his mother Layla and she praises Allah, saying, Habibi Ali, my beloved Ali, Allah answered my prayers and brought you back to me. Ali embraces his mother, she holds on to him, smells him for the last time, embraces him for the last time, before he returns to the battle and continues to fight. The soldiers, frustrated for all the blows that Ali is delivering to them, until one of the enemies of Allah, his name was Murrah. Murrah says, I will bereave his father, I will make his father grieve, I will kill this young man. The enemies are surrounding Ali al-Akbar. He maneuvers around the different soldiers. Murrah finds a gap and he strikes Ali al-Akbar with a spear in his back. Ali gasps for air as the spear penetrates his back. The son of Hussein is then struck on his head. The men continue to strike Ali al-Akbar with their swords and their spears until Ali al-Akbar falls on the neck of his horse. The horse is disoriented with the blood that splatters from the body of Ali al-Akbar. Instead of taking Ali al-Akbar back to the camp of Imam al-Hussein, the horse takes Ali straight into the camp of the enemies, surrounding him, striking him until he calls out, Father Hussein, I see my grandfather Muhammad reaching to me with a sip of water. He tells me, make haste, my grandson. Come to me, I am waiting. Al-Imam al-Hussein rushes into the battlefield. He reaches his son after the enemies disperse. Ali al-Akbar opens his eyes. He says, Father Hussein, I see the doors of heaven open and the servants of heaven descending with cups of water, calling me to paradise. I ask you to tell the women, I ask you to tell the women that I am fine. Father Hussein. And then he was still. His voice became quiet. Imam al-Hussein places his son's head in his lap. He wipes away the blood from his mouth. He would kiss his son on his face and say, my son Ali. Who are these people that killed you? My son, my son. Al-Imam al-Hussein with the tears from his eyes. My son, you've reached heaven. My son. But your father remains. They say Imam al-Hussein was taking deep breaths, crying at the top of his voice, calling out, Ali Rah, Ali Rah, Ali's gone, Ali's gone. looking at his brothers, telling them, his cousins telling them, come and carry your brother, Imam al-Husayn. Mourning his son Ali. But what would Layla, his mother, what would she say? I gave Hussein my son Ali, the first of his sons. He is the light of my eyes, the joy of my life. I gave Hussein my son Ali, the first of his sons. He is the light of my eyes, the joy of my life. I told him as I held my tears, Akbar Ali, you are great, you are strong, and your thirst will be quenched by Muhammad, and your thirst will be quenched by Muhammad. Go and give your life for Hussein. Go and give your life for Hussein. I'll see you in heaven with Zahra. I'll see you in heaven with Zahra. But how could I not feel pain, Ya Hussein? How could I not feel pain, Ya Hussein? Ali's gone, Ali's gone,
Ali's gone, Ali's gone, Ali's gone, Ali's gone, Ali's gone, Ali's gone, Ali's gone with me, Ali's gone, Ali's gone, Ali's gone. It's as if the conversation between Layla and her son Ali al-Akbar goes, she tells him, my son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. But remember this one thing, my son, honor Hussein with Layla. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. But remember this one thing, my son, honor Hussein. One more time. My son, honor Hussein. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. But remember this one thing, my son, honor Hussein. One more time, my son. My son, you fight bravely. My son, you fight bravely. Worthy of your father Ali. My son, you fight bravely. Worthy of your father Ali. They couldn't tell you were thirsty. My son, you fight bravely. My son, you fight bravely. Look at you in Haidar's armor. Look at you in Haidar's armor. This is every mother's honor. This is every mother's honor, to see her son roar and shout and defend his father Hussein. And defend his father Hussein. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. But remember this one thing, my son, honor with Layla. One more time, my son, honor Hussein. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. My son, listen, listen closely. It is now time for you to leave. But remember this one thing, my son, honor Hussein. One more time, my son, honor Hussein. One more time, my son, honor Hussein. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdillah. وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليكم مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنار ولا جعل الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه وفي كل وليا وحافظا وقائدا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
All of the men, if you could please wait one moment, all of the men.